Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. Thank you for joining again here on Western Spring Television on this program, Morning Spring, where we talk about everything that has to do with the betterment of our dear nation, the good people and the great nation called Nigeria. Femi Ojo is my name, and this is the week starter for this program. Evelyn, good morning.
Good morning, Femi. It's Monday. It is 20th day in the month of May 2024. I kind of had a slow start this morning, but of course we have to do our job.
Right.
Welcome on board to Morning Spring, where we'll talk about critical issues affecting us as a country, as a nation, as a people. We try to look from the dailies, what they have to say, the big stories making it to the different national dailies, and of course move to the talking point, where we have conversation with critical stakeholders, politicians, policymakers, so you can have a better view, better understanding of the situation at hand. Welcome on board.
Of course, that's what we do. We look at the headlines, that's the papers, and they are in as well, very interesting ones. And at the other side of that, you then get talk here. And in a minute or so, the weekend evening was a packed one, very packed, quite, eventful on the sporting world. By the way, some major leagues of Europe rounded off last weekend. In APL, Man City, a fourth-time champion in a row. In Bundesliga, the presentation was done. And in the boxing world as well, Usyk, defeated Fury. And of course, he is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. In more than 20 years or so, that's a big one. Of course, politically speaking, just last night, we heard, the chopper helicopter carrying the Iranian president, crash landed. People are looking for what happened. But earlier this morning, there is some clarity. It appears that, it's fatal. That's talking about Ibrahim al-Sisi. And of course, we look into that. But because of time, we might not be able to delve into that. You will get some hints of that in a newspaper, headlines reeling out this morning. We'll go on this quick break. And when we come back, we'll delve right to what the papers are for us.
All right, welcome back. It is the newspaper headline review, and I will start with Vanguard's newspaper this morning. Let's see the big stories that made it to the front page of Vanguard, Monday, May 20th, 2024, this morning. And for today, all right, starting with Vanguard newspaper, manufacturers well as unsold goods pile up in warehouses, cost of living rises, purchasing power drops. Riders here says palm oil producers was hit. Beer producers emerge best performers, and experts blame FX volatility, energy crisis, profile solutions. And away from that, intense search for Iran's President Raisi after a helicopter accident. Femi hinted on that earlier on. And of course, at the remembrance service for late Otumba Balogun, you can see the picture there of different guests. And also, you can see the picture of Senator Seriak Dixon, the former governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Benga Daniel, former Ogun State governor, and Mr. Ladeji Balogun, the son of the late Otumba Shubomi Balogun, at the first year remembrance church service in memory of Otumba Balogun. And that's the late founder of the First City Monument Bank, FCMB. Away from that, Tinubu OK's establishment of Green Industrial Zone. FG moves to fight inflation through CNG. And top strip We have this on Vanguard newspaper. Edo Guba, Labour moves to reconcile Akpata Imaswagba and accuses Abure of not backing party's candidates. Sets up committee to investigate fraud allegations against him. Minimum wage, why we may not accept 100,000 naira, organized labor says. And in the world of sport on Vanguard newspaper this morning, formidable, and the formidable is written as formidable. Yeah. Man City win Premier League for record 4th time in a row. Congratulations to the Manchester City team. I was about to say Man United. Femi almost got me there. But no, it's Man City. Mr. and Mrs., so you agree with your friend that women should propose to men. That's exactly the meaning of the word women. Woman. Amazing from Mr. there. All right, let's move to the talking point at this time. Joining us live in the studios this morning, like I call him all of the time, Comrade Ladeji Alabi is seated right here. Good morning to you. Happy Monday. How are you doing?
Good morning, my sister Comrade, and Femi Ojo, good morning to you.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here again.
Okay, so let's let me take you on this minimum wage issue. Labour is still saying that they may not accept 100,000 naira. Last time we had you on the show, you said 48,000 naira is ridiculous. I mean, the proposition given by the federal government, and what the organized labor is tendering on the table also is so ridiculous, 615,000 naira. And now they are saying that they may not accept 100,000 naira. Your thoughts?
For the organized labor, I know they may have their reasons for saying, okay, so we don't want to take anything less than, I mean, no, we don't want to take anything 100,000 or thereabouts. It's a no-brainer that our politicians knows how to take care of themselves very well. You know, you see increase here and there for them. You see budget here and there for them. You see building allowances, accommodation allowance. In fact, resumption allowance in some cases. So I know Labour see all these things and they also felt, okay, so these are opportunity to, see what we can take off the government. But realistically, Labour should know that 615,000 naira is unrealistic. We should not be deceiving ourselves. If this will not work, let them negotiate pay per hour with the government. If they feel 100,000 naira will be too small for them, government is feeling 615,000 naira is too much, government is proposing 48,000, which for me is way ridiculous. Let the Labour propose wage per hour, maybe about 800 naira per hour. Let's see where we go with that.
Okay, all right, before Femi comes in, this big one on the Vanguard, manufacturers well as unsold goods pile up in warehouses as cost of living rises, purchasing power drops.
Well, that's where I will actually clap for the president. He's a man of his word. He said he during campaign, let's reduce the purchasing power of the people. And that is what we've seen now. And the ripple effect of it will tell on the manufacturers too, because when people cannot afford to get stuff, even food, for people to buy food, it is difficult, not to talk of some other things that are not essential. Because you have to weigh it's not, putting your items on scale of preference. Okay, do I need to eat before I do this? Then you look at, okay, so let's eat first. It is someone that is alive that can buy a car. It's someone that is alive that can build a house. It's someone that is alive that can. So it is sad, but that is the reality that we find ourselves in Nigeria currently.
All right, thank you so much, Ladeji. That will be all from the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, from the Vanguard newspaper, we go to the next one, which is the Punch newspaper for today. And of course, it has boldly written, federal government may slash 6 trillion naira fuel import. Dangote petrol supply, federal government may slash 6 trillion naira fuel import with a rider. 520 billion naira monthly fuel import expected to drop as Dangote begins supply June. And of course, the sad one from Iran. Helicopter crash. Iranians pray for missing president and minister. but latest reports are some confirmation of President Ibrahim Raisi. And of course, you could see the people there observing prayers, waiting for, hoping against hope. And then world leaders are already talking on the matter as well. And 8 manufacturers suffer 627 billion naira forex losses. Cocaine seizure. NDLEA declares couple wanted. Federal government begins housing construction in 4 states. And top stream oil production nears 1.7 million barrels per day. That's coming from NNPC. And NPC may raise interest rate again Tuesday. And CBN SEC fine 9 banks 678 million naira. And the reasoning sat there. 386 abductees rescued during some visa clearance exercise. That's coming from the military. Ladeji, quick one. On the Dangote petrol supply, federal government may slash 6 trillion naira fuel import. And the rider says 520 billion naira monthly fuel import expected to drop as Dangote begins supply. June, your take on that?
Well, Femi, as good as it is, at least for Dangote and for maybe Nigeria to some extent, that we have a working refinery, even though it is not owned by the government. But what I know is that Dangote will not give out fuel for free. He is in the business to make money. Don't forget also he had loans that he took to make sure he put that place up. So it will not be, it is what he buys, it is when he factors his cost of production that it determines how much he's going to sell. Yes, it may be a bit lesser than what we are importing. But, we should not, the government should not make it as if it is by their doing that would work. The government should rather look at how are we going to have more for a nation of about 200 million or 200 million plus people. We should have more refineries. The government should be able, all of those ones that are moribund, every now and then that we go, we see modular refineries and, the Navy burn them down. Why don't you give these people, modular refinery licenses?
Should the government still be involved in the business of refining, really?
Well, if the government cannot, then mandate. Well, it won't be a bad idea if the government can. Because virtually in Nigeria, aside Dangote, how many people have the luxury to say they want to go? The investment Dangote had in that refinery dropped him at a time from the top list of, what billionaires at the time, because it is a huge investment. Now, and every now and then, government have been saying, we spend this on Port Harcourt refinery, this we are spending on Kaduna refinery, rehabilitation, and every now and then, a drop of oil have not come out of those places. So if the government feel they cannot manage these things, hand them over to private people. But the private people that you would have handed over to, they run modular refineries, but every time you get them caught, you burn them down. No, these are not the way to go. Give them license for modular refineries, monitor them. The government can serve as a supervisor, serve a supervisory role, give them conditions. Okay, we are giving you 500 barrels per day, we are giving you 200 barrels per day. Then we will be talking about those people, servicing their areas. Then Dangote and some other bigger refineries can look for the nation at large.
That's you talking about standardization.
Of course, yes.
All right. Thank you very much. That will be all from the front page of the Punch.
From the Punch, we head on to Leadership newspaper this morning. On Leadership newspaper, quite a number of headlines on the front page. Northwest APC voids Ganduje, Jaji, other suspension. And despite strikes, falling standards, 67 varsities produce 6,464 first-class graduates in 3 years. Experts attribute trend to technology. Others, stakeholders seek adequate funding, vocational skills. And Army foils coup attempt in DR Congo. Bandits kill 6 farmers in Kaduna village. Resettled Borno residents, we are dying of hunger. And in the world of sports, Man City win historic 4th straight English Premier League title. And that actually costs the Arsenal fans quite a lot. 28 million housing deficit, stringent policies impeding home ownership. 2024 Hajj, Nakan airlifted 7,582 pilgrims in 5 days. Iran president feared death in chopper crash. All right, taking Ladeji on education, despite everything that we are going through as a country, the strikes here, strike the industrial actions by ASU, NASU, SANU, all the SUs that you can think about. We still have, students doing excellently well. 6,464 first-class graduates within the space of 3 years. That's from 67 universities. Your thoughts?
Well, Evelyn, the question I will ask is, what's the percentage of the government-owned universities on this number? No doubt. If you check very well, I'm not saying government universities are not producing first-class graduates, but majority of this number comes from private universities. And it's a lot of factors into that. But the factor I would like to point out is, I saw a post recently on X where a supposedly a lecturer posted that, he gives a mark to students based on his mood. As much as he loves 2-1 first class, he doesn't just feel like giving it out. And even if this may be a class chasing, whatever, anybody can put PhD on his name on any social media. And the school I graduated for, at a time, the department said, these people are too much on 2-1, drop them. So if you are not strong on 2-1, you are coming to 2-2. If you are not strong on 2-2, you come down. So, and the facilities in government institutions, proof do you have that this can help students? So it is only a minimum number of people, students from government-owned universities that can come out with this, first class of a team. But I think it is also an eye-opener for us to have a rethink. It's not a crime for a student to graduate under, even if you as a lecturer. One of my lecturers told me I had a 2-2, so why are you guys shouting 2-1 first class for crying out? That you had a 2-2 doesn't mean,
trying to project himself on the students.
Of course, yes. And, over there, the better your student, the better your own promotion too. But here, everybody just feel, okay, so I have the authority. A lot of lecturers will even tell you, A is for God, B is for me, C is for the best student, D is for this and that. We don't need all those. So just in summary of everything, government-owned institutions need to also do better. You can see the attitude of private universities in making their students come out in flying color. You can see the attitude they put in care of their students. Many government-owned institutions doesn't have those facilities. Many government-owned institutions doesn't have even a public address system inside of a classroom of about 200, 300 students. So you want the lecturer to speak on top of his voice. You want students that sit at the back to hear the lecturer clearly. Nothing electronic. So I wonder where the ICT, the pointed onto comes in. Because Evelyn, let's do a survey. Many of government-owned institutions in Nigeria don't have those facilities. I can tell you, till I graduated, I paid 10,000 naira every year for ICT. I never used my school ICT for 4 years.
And some people might say that for the private-owned institutions, funding is a thing. There is enough funds, to put all of those things in place. But for the government-owned institutions, we do not have a lot of funding as such, and that is why some people have been clamoring for autonomy from the private public institutions.
Evelyn, from the private institution and government institution, which one should have access to more money? Governments most times just leave this university. That's why you see universities selling bread, selling pure water. The things they are meant to invest in, they are not investing. How many of them get funding from outside? How many of them have what it takes to, they are hybrid towers. They are where ideas come out from. But how many of them have the funding? No. Politicians would rather subsidize Jerusalem pilgrimage than spending money on education. That is just it. A private institution knows that if I don't put these things in place, students will not come. Let me round up by saying this. When I was in the university, my school was, we pay all this fee. A lady slumped in my class one day. We carried her in our hands to the school health care center. I was in a private university. A girl slumped, and the driver of the ambulance was running under. He said they must not use hand to carry that girl to the clinic, that he will lose his job. You see the difference? So if government wants our institutions, government institutions, to be at par with private-owned institutions, put more funding.
All right.
Let the lecturers live well. Let the schools have facilities. Then we can be talking about, having a healthy competition among these institutions.
Thank you so much. That will be all from leadership.
All right, from leadership to The Nation newspaper. And it has this boldly written, Tinubu likely to get minister's performance record this week. And with a rider, deliverables based on administration's 8 priority areas are criteria. CBN faces tough choices on interest rate, inflation, others. And with the rider, Apex Bank's MPC meets. And just above that, violence erupts at Ekiti, Kwara boundary. Why? Ogun APC attacks Senator Daniel. Okay, you want to know why The Nation has that information. And Ohiolei cleared to become 43rd Olubadan, all bottlenecks removed. And President OK's panel on green economic drive, and Jury Ngelale is envoy. All right, that's the spokesperson for the president there, wearing 2 caps as it, appears. Central Bank withdraws cybersecurity levy circular. Troops rescue abducted 383 from Sambisa forest. And bottom strip, anxiety over Iran president and chopper crash. 4,000 Nigerian students in Germany. Let me take you up on these. Ladeji, Tinubu likely to get minister's performance record this week, and deliverables based on administration's 8 priority areas are criteria. You remember they signed a bond. Your take on that?
Of course, yes.
Performance bond.
For me, I think that ought to have even come in a bit earlier. You ask me why? Because a lot of ministries have not really been. We've not seen their impact. Even just you showing your face, one of the ministries I have issues with is the Ministry of Blue Economy and whatever that the former governor of Osun State is heading. I've not really seen much of that. The only time you see, his boys come out on X is, when they see people ask it, Ohiolei is doing this in the blue economy, and another one is the Ministry of Power. We've not seen so much. Now, someone like the man in the Ministry of Interior will tell you that being a minister is not a rocket science. If you have a clear-cut plan on what you want to do.
Will it be a fair comparison to compare?
No. Femi,
hold on, please.
Femi, I'm talking about the basics now.
Hold on. To compare the deliverables, the Ministry of Power, Ministry of Interior, with the Ministry of Blue Economy.
Femi.
A novel ministry that is just starting up.
Femi. A novel ministry that is just starting up. If you have a clear-cut idea of what you want to do. If you have 6, 7, 8, 9 months, nothing to show. Virtually nothing.
You don't think that the minister is working
we should
on the foundation, building a foundation for that particular
ministry? You cannot use 4 years to put foundation, for crying out loud. They are already agencies. Femi,
for them.
They are already agencies that work on marine issues in Nigeria. So it is not about you even starting from the scratch. There is NIMASA, there are other agencies. There is this, I've forgotten their name now, that have been working on marine economy before. So all you just need to do is to bring these people together, see what we can. And the intention of the president is that we should look into this sector and tap into the resources therein. So what have we gained from this ministry? That is the question we should be asking. Why I'm doing the comparison is that before this man came into the Ministry of Interior, his name is just Tunji Ojo came into the Ministry of Interior. I can tell you for free that a lot of people had crisis with getting Nigeria passport to get to the what's the name now, the immigration office. They tell you there is no booklet. But right from when he came on board, yes, there are still a bit of bottleneck. There's been a bit of delays, but you will see that at least this man has pushed something out of the way. I saw a non-Nigerian doing a review of getting a Nigerian visa from somewhere, and he did a video. He said the way they attended to him, the way he did everything was seemingly very easy process for himself. It shows we are growing in that aspect. that should be the same thing for all ministries. If you have a ministry, you want to generate money first, you don't want to leave value, to give value to the people, then there will be crisis. So I feel all ministers now.
They will be submitting their report.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. And the prerogative is with the president, actually. Yeah. Irrespective of what we say, the prerogative is with him to look at who am I continuing with, or to tell them, okay, guys, I think you are not doing well in this ministry. I want to move you to another ministry. Or, okay, say, you guys, I'm giving you another chance. There is another 1 year for you to do better, than what you have been doing. So I think it's a good one, generally speaking, to actually, it will serve as a, okay, so we are not just there. We have someone that will check us if we are doing fine or not.
All right, that's all from the front page of the news.
All right, Daily Trust has the following headlines on its front page. 2 years after, 100 new air traffic controllers redundant. NCAT lacks capacity to train us. Aviation College silent. It takes time to train cadets. This is coming from NAMA. Iran president, minister on board, crashed helicopter. 12 killed in Taraba. Imo auto crashes. Man City win historic 4th straight Premier League title. And away from sport, Army rescues 386 from Sambisa forest 10 years after abduction. Gunmen kill soldiers in Abia. Customs officers' wives, 4 family members abducted in Abuja. And restrictions on Nigerian, other African countries' imports affecting businesses. Coming from IMF, top strip, Abbas to Ganduje, raise committees to reconcile aggrieved APC members. More pressure on Naira ahead, possible interest rate hike. Kano mosque arson renders 100 orphans, 13 widows. That's a sad one from, that incident that happened in Kano State. All right, let's take Ladeji on this report. Army rescues 386 from Sambisa forest 10 years after abduction. Your thoughts?
Well, it's better late than never. At least 10 years. The fact that they were rescued is the bigger news for me. I know 10 years is not a joke. 10 years is not easy for any family to be searching for their loved ones. But the fact that the army has successfully been able to retrieve these people, kudos to the Nigerian military and kudos to everyone involved. And I hope other people, like my darling Leah Sharibu, is also rescued and everybody's united with their family.
All right, thank you so much, Ladeji. But before we go, I just want to take your thoughts, just like 1 minute, on what happened yesterday, the match that decided the win for the English Premier League, Man City taking the win again for the 4th time.
The match didn't determine. Arsenal lost the league since they lost to Aston Villa, and it's sad that
if Man City had lost yesterday,
they wouldn't. Man City would not lose at the Etihad against a team like West Ham United. Man City is a resilient team. But the sad thing for me, for me, kudos to Arsenal, a very young side, and I don't know if Femi won't want me to say this, but I will say it before I go. A very young side with a young coach. But it's a shame on teams like Man United, Liverpool, and Chelsea taunting Arsenal, and successfully Pep Guardiola has turned the Premier League to a farmers league.
Jabs received, but of course do not at any point put Liverpool in the same category as Man U and Chelsea. It's
all
not
of
fair.
You are shameless lots together.
Thank you, Ladeji, for your thoughts this morning.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
And that will be all from this particular session. We'll go for this break. When we come back, we'll be speaking about what's going on in the different political houses, especially in our dear state, Osun State, and of course nationally. Do not go anywhere. Morning Spring. We'll be right back.
All right. right, you're welcome back, and it's still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. And the conversation this morning, it's about the vehicle to power, especially in a democracy, talking about party politics and the impact, that is I call it a vehicle because that is the tool that politicians ride in to get to power, and so to give the people the dividends of democracy. But when you have major happenings in those vehicles, the party, especially nationally and of course subnationally, talking about Osun State here, it's something we should look into, and that's exactly what we are doing this morning. There is no doubt that the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, is